Okay, so I'm going to be playing back a recording that I have for the Baba room, the puzzle, and the boss fight itself. I will do as much explanation as I can of why I'm doing certain things. Baba is the first room that I do, so I have my pre-pot going, the stam, the super combat, and ranging. Again, no imbued heart. If you have one, you can go ahead and do that. So right at the start, I equip full Carols with the Anguish, drop 2 restores, and pick up the potions inside the room along with the hammer. You want to start off with the Trident of the Swamps because the first wave is always going to be melees. And then by the time you kill them, hopefully you'll be able to get your first task. You have the Vents task and the Pillar task when you're doing solos. When you're in a group, sometimes people will turn fully red and you'll have to basically DD, which is death dot, which means everyone stands on the same tile, which is why I have those 2 marked tiles. When I duel with my buddy, that's where I go. Unfortunately I forgot to record audio, but that's fine. So the green monkeys, you need to kill them with melee, or at least that's what they're weak to. The red monkeys are weak to mage, and those blue ones there are weak to range. You'll have your special monkeys, which is the shaman, the volatile, and whatever that baboon, the poison one is. Cursed one, there we go. A lot of the times when I see the cursed ones, I like to make sure I use ancients and freeze them. I don't remember the name of that spell, but it's not like Ice Barrage, it's not the higher level one. With the volatiles, they walk up to you, they ignore everything in their path so they don't get stuck behind anything, and they will blow up in front of you and do massive amount of damage. You just wait for them to come up to you, and you can just walk away, and then you'll take no damage. And as for the shamans will keep spawning the little baby blue ones. The baby blue ones do melee damage, and I am preferred to kill the shamans with range. As you can see, most of the time when I do kill the shamans, I'm using range, and I like to turn on rigor as well. Again, my low stats make this a lot harder, so that's why I'm expending a lot of prayer points. And I use a lot of restores, and I bring a lot of restores. If you're low health, I like to blood barrage as much as I can, just so I can gain some of that HP and use very little bruise. Waves of enemies come in over and over again. I don't remember the exact count, but you just got to be able to clear the room. Here you can see the one cursed baboon running amok on one half of the room, and it's peeling into everything else. I took notice of it and decided to take it out. Standing in the poison, you'll take a bunch of damage. If you miss to do one of the objectives, either fix the pillars or the potion into the vent, or even DD if you're not doing solos, you'll take damage. You'll fail the objective of that part, and you'll take, I believe it's like around 19 damage at 150. Once you clear everything, remember to pick up your potions and gear up for the Baba fight. During the Baba fight, we'll be using melee. So at this point, I have a couple things to say. I didn't use too much resources, was able to drop 1 empty vial, start off with melee, and I have my BGS. A lot of the times I like to top myself off on HP and prayer. Get ready to use this spec, have piety, and protect from melee. So I have a few tiles marked. The very top one is where the ghost spawns at the end of the fight. Teleport you out. And I have the 2 on the sides, the one on the north and south side. I'll just refer them to the left and right for now. That is the furthest I can be for the invocation Mind the Gap. So on the bottom of of the room, there's a big hole, it's an empty area. When it comes time for the boulders, you'll get knocked into it, and that'll lead into a wipe. The other locations I have on here are Juggle Japes, which is the bananas, and Shaking Things Up, which makes the shadow attack a lot more. During this boulder fight, I switch to full range and make sure I have rigor. Be able to one-shot the eroded boulder and able to walk through with it and essentially perform a skip. Normally there's like about 5 to 6 boulder waves that come at you. If you're fast enough with your clicks, you can be able to skip a majority of it. Again, you can see that I am doing my best to stay on the sides, just so I don't get knocked out. Once again, I make sure I switch to range, have rigor on, and I believe this is where I mess up here. Click up, right here. You get hit, you get knocked back. Tons of damage. Now, if you're at the bottom of that, you will fall off, and that'll be a wipe. Another reason why I do this room first is that my weapon is very good here. It's a really good stab weapon, and Baba is pretty weak to stab, as at least what I'm hearing from other sources. And if I manage to die through them, like forgetting that Mind the Gap is on, or just run low on supplies, it's just the first room, so I don't lose too much time. You'll only do 2 boulder runs, and so from here, gotta finish them off, and that'll be it. The giant boulders on the floor, make sure you're always doing your best to stand next to them, because you'll deal lots of damage. Click on the ghost to exit the room once you're done. Thank you very much for watching on how I do the Baba encounter. Subscribe, because I have videos on the rest of the raid.